Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this new series of interviews that I do with friends in the industry, artists, people that work in marketing, basically anything to do with music. Today I spoke to Alex Érratic and it was a very interesting chat. We talked about his early beginnings in music, how he moved to different cities, how they influenced his style, early music genres that he was producing at the start of his career. We also looked into his workflow, his studio setup, which was very, very interesting. Towards the end, we also spoke about how he manages to put out so much music. I urge you to actually stay until the end because it was very, very interesting. Alex dropped a lot of things that we can learn from him. Thanks for tuning in. Let's do it.
I'm doing well, yeah, between work and studio as well.
Because you're
So
working, what, like
I
full
work,
time?
I don't work full time. I used to work full time, like making a lot of hours in the
Okay.
kitchen. I'm a chef. So
Yeah.
basically, I work 4 days a week and I have 3 days off. Then I can focus on music mostly on the weekend.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, it's well balanced between studio time on the morning, then I go to work like let's say at 3 and finish 10 around-ish, so I
Okay.
can still produce later as well, and mostly weekends. So yeah.
And let's talk a bit about, sorry, I'm just adjusting the camera here quickly.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. I mean, we have a lot to cover, but I was
Yeah,
wondering, first of all, let's start at the very beginning. And
yeah.
before I get into how you started your whole music journey, I'm actually very curious about your artist name. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Erratic. Yeah.
Yes.
I've been to different names actually. Before I was Ade, like ADA, and then Ade French. So that's two alias I used to have. And then I'm like, basically, I wanted to change. And it was where in Australia, in a museum, that we saw that big rock called Érratic. And I'm like, wow, love that name. I want it. And then I'm like, maybe I should add like an accent, the French acute accent on it.
To make
So
it, to
it's, yeah,
franchise it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even though it's hard for labels to put the accent, it's hard to
Yeah,
remember for
because
them.
it's hard to remember, you know?
It's not even easy to put on your desk.
That's
The
true.
French
Yeah, because
acute accent.
depending on the keyboard that you use, like for example
Yeah,
in like
the
English
keyboard. Yeah.
languages or like even like in other languages, like they sometimes don't even have the accent. You have to like go on Google and copy paste it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's why then I understand. Yeah, yeah. For me, it's easy. Then I can
probably.
find
Yeah,
easy. Yeah,
yeah,
but
because I mean to find like I see it with my girlfriend when she uses my laptop for something. She's like, "Where's the at? Where's like the accent? Where can I
yeah,
do
yeah.
the exclamation mark?" So it's yeah,
You
it
see.
depends what country you bought your laptop in or
Yeah,
computer. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Definitely. So this is where it all starts from a museum and a rock. But it also erratic means a lot of things, like the behavior, erratic behavior. But I decided to start with erratic, and I didn't like it for first, yeah, on the
oh,
first years. No, I didn't like it at all. And basically everyone calls me erratic now, so I'm like, I love it. But it took
how
some
come?
time.
How come did you not like it in the beginning?
I don't know, erratic. Didn't feel like I need to accept like being in part of the game.
Hmm.
I didn't believe erratic could make it, and nowadays it start to pick it up. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't like it at first, but yeah.
Do you feel
Now,
like now you identify very strongly with it and it's like your actual name, so it's difficult to change it now?
yeah, it would be very difficult to change now. Like people they know me as erratic,
Hmm.
and changing now, I think it will be wrong. Let's wait a bit and then, but so far I'm enjoying it, so I will not. I'm not even thinking about changing it now. Now this is mine. Even though you have a lot of erratic actually, but without the
Oh,
accent. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
You have few.
Do
There is
you
one in England, I think, or
do you run
in
into
England. Yeah.
trouble on Spotify when
Yeah, it
people
happens. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
and
You can
also do you
find.
have other people's
Yeah.
releases on your
There's one or
profile?
two. Yeah,
Okay,
definitely. And
okay.
I needed to text Spotify to like say to them like,
to
come
solve it.
on, please try. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
YouTube as well. But there is a rapper actually in America called Érratic.
I thought
So
actually that that might have been you like first releases because I went when I was looking at your profile to like look for your older stuff. I did
yeah,
see like a release and I was like, oh, maybe he did hip hop before house. There's a lot of people that started in different
yeah,
genres.
no, definitely, but not. I mean, I love hip hop, but no.
Okay, let's travel a bit in time. I'm very curious about your start, your first contact with music.
Wow.
Tell me a bit about how music found you or how you found music.
I don't know. I guess it started very early in Orléans, where I'm born. Mostly, Main-sur-Loire is a small town close to Orléans, central of France. And then it started from listening CDs I received from my father. I used to listen Carmina Burana. I don't know if you know about it. She's an
I'm
opera
not
singer.
familiar.
She's
Okay.
an opera singer. I got in love with opera. I don't know how. Like
Okay.
I was 6, 7 years old, and that's something really like touched my soul,
Yeah.
touched my heart right away. And then I was trying to like replicate the voice, the vocal, and I could remember I find the tune pretty well at that time, and I'm like, wow, I love music. Like I have a feeling. I have emotion. Maybe I should try like to play music. And so I asked
Hmm.
my parents to buy me um, a keyboard. It was first the Casio
Yeah.
37 keys. So I start with that at home, like playing around, and this is how it started actually. And I have a friend, a very good friend. He was autodidact. He could play, create music, compose music by himself. He was 8 years old, a gift from from
Wow.
from work. Yeah, yeah. It was insane, and I brought my keyboard and we started to compose together. And he was the one actually to teach me, to taught me the keyboard. He was very hard, very tough on me, but he could. I think I think he could believe that there was something on me. So he gave himself a lot of time to taught me to teach me the keyboard, and this is how it started by
Hmm.
keyboard, and then I moved to guitar, and guitar was actually my instrument for the next 10 years.
Okay.
And we had a band together, and a few other bands after, and I played in restaurant, in bars, until I moved to London, and we can talk about it actually. This is where
Yeah.
electronic
Tell
music
me.
start. Yeah, because mostly I used to play guitars. Like I loved guitar, one string, two string. That was like feeling something.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I thought something was missing. I already composed my music in an old software called Guitar Pro. Do you know about it?
Yeah.
Have you heard
I think I
Guitar
remember it.
Pro?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, all time, like 20 years ago, I start with that, and I was building music already from scratch. The drums, the bass, and I was pretty good on that. I spent hours already composing music on that. Even though I had a teacher, music teacher, he came every 2 Sundays at home to teach me music theory.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, so I've been able to know more about the chord progressions, the tune of the voice and the bass, play the guitar and bossa novas and stuff like that, like jazz. He was a jazz man. So
Hmm.
mostly I learned all that side. But after 2 years, he said to me, you need to find another teacher because you already reached the level pretty quickly. And he told my parents, like, he has a hearing. So mostly it's true. I used to cheat a lot because I never do my homework. I used to listen to it and be able to reproduce very fast with keyboards or guitar. So
So
basically, I was, yeah,
when you say cheat, like, do you mean that you just learned it by ear instead of reading the
always,
sheet music?
always, yeah. I
Okay.
do know how to read the music,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't like it. Just very,
Mm.
very, yeah, very bored with that. So I'm faster with my hearings. So
Hmm.
definitely I'll work with that. And so, yeah, it happens that I had the chance to move to London after my studies. And then I got in love with clubs, undergrounds,
Which one
house
was the
music,
first one that you went to?
Ministry of Sound. Do you know?
Ah, okay. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was in Elephant and Castle, still in Elephant and Castle. I was living like 5 minutes away from that. I lived in the
Oh,
Borough
nice.
High Street. Yeah, yeah.
When
And
was that? When did you move to London?
2010 or 9. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, very early. How old were you then?
I was 21. No, no, 22, 23. Yeah.
Okay.
No, after school, 21, 22. Yeah. It's more than that. 13 years ago. Yes. So
Oh,
pretty
wow.
early.
Okay.
When the time, dubstep, drum and bass were on
Yes.
their
Okay.
best.
Yeah.
Jungle music, yeah, definitely.
So
So,
that was
but
2000. No, earlier you said
2000, 2009,
2009-ish.
yeah. It was the
Okay.
time when Denmouth and Avicii, all those names
They
were
were
on
like
top.
blowing up, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who else? Yeah, definitely.
And
Calvin
so
Harris,
was
and I've seen
was
them, in Ministry of Sound, mostly like, let's say, commercial club.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
But the tech
was
house was
EDM
very good at that time. EDM,
was EDM like your main thing at the time, or did you
definitely.
go straight into house music and
No,
minimal
no,
tech
no.
house? Okay.
EDM was my thing. But I love trance music also, quite faster.
Like
But
Armin
yeah,
van Buren.
I'm in Verburen, definitely.
Okay.
Tiesto, yeah, yeah, yeah. But I was
And
in love with Umek and Mark
okay.
Knight. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
and, and I got into, tech house and house music a little bit later, but slowly it went. But I love Django at that time, mostly Django. I
Okay.
used to go to Corsica studio where I found LTJ Buckham playing in live, and I had the
Nice.
chance to talk with him. Had
Oh,
this fusion
really?
of, yeah, definitely, yeah. I have a
Wow.
picture with him. Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay.
a legend. It's a legend.
I'm very jealous.
Goldie, Goldie was playing that
Goldie,
night
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Nice.
the real names, the pioneer of the jungle,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
at that time it
Wow.
was crazy for me. I was young and I felt something like this is for me, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I bought Ableton Live, and this is where it starts.
So you started on Ableton 8, 9?
It was 8. Yeah, Ableton 8. Oh, it's mine there.
Oh,
It's,
it's continuing.
yeah,
Okay.
okay, great.
Okay, no, 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 it's good. I think it's still going. It's
So
just
I started,
uploading.
yeah, sure. So yeah, I start that time on Ableton 8,
Hmm.
and then, man, I mean, I was on Guitar Pro. It was nothing like Ableton.
Yeah.
Moving from Guitar Pro to Ableton, it was like a revolution for me. I could,
Hmm.
create stuff from my keyboard like, and touch synthesizers like I could never with Guitar Pro. This is where I moved from guitar to electronic music, like from a rock
Okay.
to electronic music. Definitely. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about your journey as a producer within the electronic music. Like, what was
Yeah.
the first kind of like genre that you attempted producing? Because you said you had influences from drum and bass, from jungle, but
Yeah,
also you love tech house already.
absolutely. Then I moved to dub techno. Dub
Hmm.
techno, I was in love with that, the dubby style and all the synthesizers. So I had a lot of commercial EDM start, even with my production, where I start to do contest and trying to remix some vocals and shop vocals into EDM. But I didn't like it. I didn't really find myself on that. And I start, to buy vinyls because at that time I already start buying my own vinyls. And by looking on
Hmm.
DJ.de, right? I was very into dub techno style. and house. And this is where it starts with house as well.
Hmm.
Rutilance record, for example. I
Yeah.
start to buy those vinyls. Um, yeah, at that time, and then I start to produce mostly that techno to start, and then I still came back to a housey vibe
Hmm.
until I went into the style I do right now. So it took quite a while, like to move, but I would say I create like a lot of genre before I find my own style,
Hmm.
and still nowadays, I'm into a lot of genre, subgenre, I would say.
Okay. Can you tell us like what's the wildest thing that you've created? Something that is completely off of what you do now.
Yeah, drum and bass to me. Yeah,
Hmm.
jungle.
Yeah.
I used to create jungle, but also commercial EDM. Like, I
Okay.
mean, one day I should make you listen. You'll be like,
I
wow.
would love to.
I
I
mean,
would love to listen.
it's funny, but I was not proud. I could not find myself proud with those kind of,
With that,
style.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, even though like my family like way better than what I'm doing now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not for me. I'm more into synthesizers.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And you've collaborated over the years, like with a lot of people, or at least
yeah.
now the last year, I've seen that you've
I,
collaborated a lot.
especially the
We
last
have
year.
we have collaborated as well.
Yes,
So
we
I'm
did.
just wondering, how do you enjoy the process of collaboration? What have you learned from it over the years,
Hmm.
and what kind of lesson can you take from that?
Hmm. Well, I think collaborating for me, it's one of the most beautiful thing into this industry of, sending and sharing a project, a music, and I found myself more happy doing it and growing faster. Definitely, I think it's a tip for everyone. Like a collaboration is a way for you to go out of your, how do you say, go out of your
Comfort zone.
comfort zone. Definitely.
Hmm.
I, a year and a half or 2 years ago, I still had a lot to learn about this kind of music I do today. But thanks to people I collaborate with, I've learned so much. Like I've
Hmm.
learned crazy from you, from Benny S or
I
Alben
mean,
and Lash.
I don't know if you
It,
learned much from me, but
definitely, man. I mean, you're the
tell me,
grooviest with the bass, man. I mean, you're
really? Okay,
insane. Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm
I
very
mean,
honored. I'm very honored.
no, definitely. I mean, you're very good with synthesizer. I think you have the hearing like me, and we got together a super nice project, right? We released a
Yeah,
vinyl this
I
year,
agree.
last end of the
I
year.
agree.
I mean, okay. Well, this is one of the beautiful, beautiful, one of the most beautiful collaboration I had,
Well,
definitely.
definitely. For me, it was like it is also my latest release, but
Yeah.
I still now, like, when in time you think like, okay, no, I've released
Mhm.
this, like we worked a long time ago on it, and then suddenly you're like, okay, that's in the past. I don't want to listen to that anymore. But still now, I still now listen to it, and I think like it's actually not bad. I really like it. Like I actually love it. And
Yeah,
I tend to be like super self-critic
it
towards
is.
my music,
It
and I
is.
always think like, no, this is not what I want to be doing. I need to improve and all that. But with that EP, I think that's the first. Like last year, the music that I put out was like the first time I
Yeah.
started like, okay, I'm going in the right direction now. I'm starting
Of
to like.
course, you can be very proud of it. I think it's a bomb. It's a bomb.
Likewise, likewise.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I had a
And
lot of fun with Alban and Laj. You know Alban and Laj? It's the two French
uh,
WhatsApp friends. We release a lot of
I
house
think I
music, I
missed
would
that
say.
one.
Yeah, you will have a look. We actually have a track on a vinyl just like
Hmm.
3 months ago together. And there are two Frenchies. They are amazing producers. They play
Hmm.
mostly house, I would say house, minimal, minimal house, and
Hmm.
they're actually going, huge nowadays. They just play for Halcyon yesterday.
Ah, okay,
So
okay.
yeah, yeah, Alban and Large. So basically, collaboration helped me a lot, in any genre to get successful. Definitely to
Hmm.
get tips from them, from you, from BNS. Even though he doesn't like to share much the project, but it's funny. In a way, you learn always. I had a lot of collaboration. I will say more than 15. There is a lot is coming this year,
Hmm.
and then a very good one coming soon on Micronica label. So it's more like a micro house label,
Okay.
but one of the
Because
best in.
you release a lot, and I'm
Yeah,
wondering, because you release music like very frequently, how do you go about like managing release schedules? Like how do you plan, because you just mentioned you have a lot of releases coming out this year. How
yeah,
do you plan ahead? Because obviously you cannot release everything in 1 month, and you have to like
no.
stagger it a bit.
Hmm.
So how do you manage release schedules, and how do you try to organize everything?
It's a good question actually, because I think we talk about it like, at what point. Is last year, for example, I released more than 50 tracks, and it's about like one track a week. The thing is, to contact or to communicate with labels, it's very hard. They don't
Hmm.
answer to you. Uh, they don't know about when it's gonna be released. They don't want to talk about it. Like they have a lot of producers before,
Hmm.
and so basically, like you just go and see. But I really hate it because it happened a few times that one release happened the same day.
Okay.
On the Friday, I got two releases from two different labels, one in Mexico and one in New Zealand or something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's very annoying. So I don't deal it well with that. I might just release less and be more prepared with labels. But what I'm trying most is to call them, look, at that date, I am busy. I have already a release.
Hmm.
So please try to push ahead of time or before. So this is how I work. I do my own schedule.
Hmm.
But it's hard because there is the premiere when you have the
Of
premiere
course.
of the songs, and you have three premiere in 2 weeks, and then you have another release at the same time. It's very confusing for the
Yeah.
crowd who is listening to me, and for my family, it's even worse. But even for me, it's confusing. Like, so I think it's need to be created an app or something that we all on the same, all on the same way, all on the same field. So basically, everyone, actually put the schedule on, put your release. It could be private, or you can just share with the label at that time.
Hmm.
But he has to be more open. I don't know why we are so closed. You know what I mean? Like,
But also there's a lot of music that's being released,
it's a
so i'm
yeah.
i'm also asking myself, because I don't own a label myself, but I
Mhm.
will definitely find someone to talk to about this.
Yeah.
um, why there is such an overflow of
It's a
releases, because there is
mhm.
some labels that literally every week they're releasing something else, so I wonder how they keep up with promotion, with the distribution of it, if it's also like physical.
I know
It's
what
yeah,
you mean. Yeah,
it's a very big topic. I think that there's a
it's a
lot
big
that we can
topic.
find
Yeah,
out about.
definitely. Maybe there is an app. There are apps that I'm not aware about it, but
I need to look into
definitely.
it, and otherwise we should start it ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, I mean, this will be a game changer for sure.
I think a lot of people are very passionate about your sound, and they love your music, especially your synth
I
work,
appreciate.
which you can tell obviously where it comes from like Jungle, LTJ Bookham, Liquid Drum and
Hmm.
Bass. Also, maybe even more recent influences, which you told me once. I think I'm not sure if it's correct, but like genre and
Yeah.
like the French, like more dubby scene. Um, I was wondering, maybe for the audience, if you could give us a run through your studio setup, like what your
Oh yeah.
studio looks like, because I can see a few synths and MIDI
Yes,
controls in the back.
definitely. Yeah. Let's have a look quickly. Yeah, there's few synth and oh, I cannot show this way. And drum machines all over.
Hmm.
So basically, I start with this one, Jupiter XM,
Okay.
which is my main synthesizer. This is where all my synth comes from.
Hmm.
And I'm very fortunate to have this one because it you can split into four parts. That means in one part you can have the bass, let's say, and then the other
Hmm.
part you can have the pads, and two different
Hmm.
synthesizers, or even though you have a lead. And this one is a controller. That means I can actually loop MIDI information that will be
Okay.
sent to the Jupiter. So whenever I play here, it will send information to Jupiter. Part one will be the part one. So it's very easy for me to layer sounds. And
Hmm.
this is where it all starts. Like basically, I layer my synthesizer or bass into these two. So you can actually run a whole setup with only that two. But I found
Okay.
myself like it would be easier if I have a drum machine on the side. So I bought my TR-8 because I
Hmm.
love those TR old Roland um,
Yeah.
808 or 909 sound. Mostly you can find in my music, definitely.
Hmm. Yeah.
Always do open hat with the
Yeah.
909 or a ride,
And the rides,
definitely.
no?
Always, I have to like try less. And this is what lately I bought a new drum machine to actually like trying to avoid the
To get
909 sound.
away a bit. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. And otherwise, I have a chord board. I don't know if you know about the chord boards, but this one,
No, I don't know it.
so if you're bad with music theory and you want to do a chord progression, this is the one you need
Right.
to have.
Okay.
Yeah,
And it
definitely.
sends me the information.
It sends MIDI information to my
Okay.
synthesizer, so I can actually program chord progressions very
Hmm.
easily, like on the. But still, you need to know a little bit about it. But yeah, you can go minor nine, suspended
Okay.
nine, or yeah, definitely. It goes very deep, minor 11, or yeah, major. So basically, I use that to create my synth and my pads. So all come from here. I also use Ableton Live and some plugins inside, but honestly, I have two plugins. Is no more than that. The rest
Hmm.
is mixing plugins or mastering
Okay. Okay.
plugins. But I have two main plugin into Ableton because I'm using mostly my synthesizer, and this is what I think the crowd likes it more. I mean, the people who listen to my music because they know it's coming from those machines,
Hmm.
and I think like it might have also influenced my music, the workflow, the way I approach music. I will advise everyone to get their own synthesizer and be
Hmm.
close to it, try to understand how it works, LFO, and filters and stuff.
Just
But the
basically to
music
use them as instruments and then record into Ableton or have like a
into
live jam.
Ableton,
Because I see on your
yeah,
social media that sometimes you do like a live jam. Is that also
yeah,
like directly the version of a song that you will record,
always,
basically? Okay.
yeah, definitely. And then I
Hmm.
see how the crowd react, let's say.
Okay.
And
Okay.
they're sending me message like, "Wow, are you going to release this one?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Okay.
why
Okay.
not? I haven't thought about it,
Nice.
but if you feel something like, yeah, definitely." And it happens like next Friday, I have a release with
Hmm.
Sengiley Records, and you see, we talk about the release before, and it's
Uh-huh.
been 1 year and a half waiting on that
Wow.
release. It's
That's a
coming
long time.
out next week. It's because they have a lot of producers that
Okay.
want to
Okay.
release on that. Yeah, and
Hmm.
they wanted to create a sub label.
Label.
Yeah, so they're starting a new label with me as the first artist. What I wanted
This
to
is
say is
Sintra.
no, it's no, not them. Sintra is
Okay.
gonna be a little bit later. Yeah, they're
Ah, okay,
also
because I
starting
just
a new.
saw it.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. No, it's another one. It's called Sengiley or Sengiley, how we call it. Not so sure from
I
Moscow.
think where okay, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Because there
Mark
is another one
Bronner.
that's called like very similarly, but I think that's in Switzerland. But I'm not. No,
Yeah,
I thought it was.
okay.
I mistook it for the
Possibly
for this one.
because, and so I waited like 1 year and a half, and
Okay.
he's finally releasing next Friday. But I wanted to say I got a lot of reaction on Instagram on those tracks, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's make an EP.
Okay.
And even though I had I got very fortunate that Tracksource actually repost 3 times my
I
music.
remember that. I
Yeah,
remember
at
seeing
that
it.
time. Yeah, exactly. And so the label knew about it, and they contact Tracksource for next Friday. So let's see if they're gonna help again
Okay. Okay.
to promote in a way.
That would be a
So
great promotion.
hopefully,
Yeah. For
hopefully,
this.
yeah. Because one night I woke up with 150 followers, and I'm like, what
Wow.
is
Okay.
going on? And it was Tracksource. I mean, it helps
Yeah. 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 Definitely.
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 Yeah.
With so many
So
artists and so many releases out there, it really helps if there's like genuine
absolutely.
support from a bigger
Yeah.
page.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's talk a bit about your workflow. You already mentioned a few things, but
Mhm.
like, I mean, more than workflow, as in like the specific things that you do for like a project. I'm more interested in the process of actually writing a song
Mhm.
and what your sort of like workflow throughout the day is. So like, to tell me, for example, how a day in your life looks like, music wise, artist wise.
Yeah. So basically, I nowadays is mostly remixes. I have to do a lot of remixes
Okay.
to finish project on remixes and collaboration mostly. I mean, I look forward for the time where I'm like with myself doing my own music because
Hmm.
I had a lot of requests.
Okay.
So morning is mostly like opening the stems and trying to,
Hmm.
finish a remix, build a track from there. But if I have to say about my workflow, my actual workflow, it is mostly like I will play around with my gears and
Hmm.
start to build a song from scratch. I
Hmm.
like to record my TR8, which is my drums, mostly
Yeah.
straight into Ableton, yeah.
Is that the
And
first
then
thing you do?
always I will
Okay.
start
Okay.
with drums and solid drums, quite
Hmm.
solid right away. And I love to have top loops around.
Okay.
So for that, I like to go into Ableton Live, definitely, because you
Hmm.
can have those, percussion, very easy to find. That always, I think it enhance the your solid drums that you have. So top
Yeah. Yeah.
loops, definitely, it helps. I'm quite raw, very raw with my drums always. I don't like to add so many effects. I'm pretty central as well. I
Okay.
don't really like when a clap will go on your right. I really like
Hmm.
central,
Hmm. Hmm.
but what I mean is also like having a ride which is gonna move mostly middle, but never only hitting right.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
really start to get central and pretty raw. I use reverb sometime or very less
Hmm.
delay, but a lot of reverb. I think my music is mostly made with reverb.
Okay.
But yeah, I always start with drums and then basically I try to put the bass line, even though it's not going to be the bass line at the end, but still,
Hmm.
just to get few ideas from his synthesizers.
Just get a vibe.
Definitely, just to get a vibe. But
Hmm.
I always try to work out the build-up straight away. Like not trying to have an intro or something, but right away the build-up, something that hits you.
As in like a break drop, sort of.
A break drop, yes.
Okay.
The
Okay.
build,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. Break drop. And so from there, I can structure my song. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
but synthesizer, I tend to use a little bit too much. I heard that feedbacks from people like, oh, just slow down with
Really?
synthesize a lot.
As in,
Uh,
like you use your synthesizers too much in general, or like you have too many melodic elements in your music?
too many melodic
Okay.
instrument. Yeah, uh, definitely pads and synthesizer. That's why I tend to be a little bit more, chill with that
Okay. Okay.
because I have this faculty that I'm quite good with synthesizer where, they can fit well together.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and layering, it's my thing. I might not be as
Okay.
good as you in the baseline, let's say, but synthesizer, that's something, I quite
I think you're the
I
master
have
in
I
our
have
scene.
I have under my fingers. I know
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
which one will go with another, and I
Okay.
spend
Okay.
hours and hours on synthesizers. Even though it's a
Mm-hmm.
project for you, I might just have spent for Space Drift. I might just have spent like 4 hours to get that
Okay.
Space Drift synthesizer.
Okay.
Even
Okay.
though for you it might not be the best synth, but for me it's something I really care because I spent 4 hours to make it.
Yeah.
So
No,
I spent.
I loved it. I loved
No, no,
it.
of course. But to me, synthesizer has to be very precise and it has to touch people, you know. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
I'm spending 1,200 euro on a synthesizer. You have to go deep inside and create your own layer. And this is what
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
actually do. I do not finish always a track in 4 hours. Sometimes it takes 30 hours to finish a track. That's why
Okay.
it takes one week, you know. But somehow I'm able to finish two track in 2 days. It's when you have it under, it's all by the mood actually and how you feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could spend hours just to find the right synth or pad. Yeah, definitely. And then once I'm done with that, I will build a whole track and garnish around.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to have feedbacks from producers. Like one day I
Mm-hmm.
send it to you a track, what do you think? And you're like,
I remember.
oh, the percussion has something. You should cut a little bit the low end of it. It was fucking true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that there was
And
like
I'm
some
like,
tension
how
with
did
the
you?
bass and the.
Yeah, and I do it a lot. I send to Basic 96 mostly because
Okay.
he's the one who quite support me a lot and
Mm-hmm.
listen to my tracks and my unreleased. So he's the one to say like, oh, this, and he has the ear for that. And I have to say,
Mm-hmm.
he's
Because he makes very similar music to you, no? I think it's quite on the same lane, or has he changed now?
it's quite on the same lane, even though he does some really different synthesizers,
Okay.
pads or synth, which I don't really into it. It's more like a triads, let's say dubby vibe, yeah, more minor nine. Even though I tried dubby, but it's a minor dubby and not a triad, which is very
Mm-hmm.
different, and I like both. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but he's very good with mastering. That's why I
Okay.
send him project to have a
Mm-hmm.
feedback with the masters.
Okay.
And and I also have my own sound engineer to send Samuel Dan
Mm-hmm.
is called that I always
Mm-hmm.
worked with years, and he's always sending me back feedbacks on tracks. So
I wonder if we can talk a bit about another topic within the music industry, or specifically the industry
mhm.
itself. How do you find navigating the industry in terms of like networking with other people? Also, social media is a very big thing nowadays. And
Mhm.
how do you find it? Is it difficult to use something that comes natural? Like both the creating the content, because somehow you need to show what you're doing now as an artist,
Yeah,
which can be tricky for a lot of people.
it is.
How do you handle all of this?
Nowadays, hardly. Um, I have no much time anymore to spend
Hmm.
on doing my set live Instagram.
Hmm.
Um, but I spend more time in the studio and finish remixes, and then it's the same for gigs. It's a time where I could not find any gigs at all,
Okay.
and I start Instagram. I show my work, and
Hmm.
people come to me. Oh wow, we love what you do. Could you do a live with that? I say yeah, but I just need to work on the live, and then why not? Could you DJ instead for now? Definitely, yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
So I start to have, this relation between promoters and producer, me, only recently, since 2, 3 years ago now, and where I start from no gigs to having to refuse gigs
Okay.
because, yeah, definitely, because I
Because of
have
too
to,
many, or
because too many, and also because I have to focus on studio part
yeah,
mostly.
yeah.
This is my main goal is to focus studio, finish tracks, release and label, and see what's come next. I had a good time
Hmm.
here in Copenhagen, be able to do a lot of gigs around, and
Hmm.
but today I have to refuse some.
Okay.
It's I think I'm enjoying more to be in the studio sometimes. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like being outside for one gig is, I mean, when the time will come where I have my own manager and then we will
Hmm.
do the
Hmm.
gigs all over the world.
Yeah.
But definitely, Instagram helped me in such a way that, yeah, I'm thankful, because I have this people who support me a lot, comes to
Hmm.
me and come to me and and say, look, your music is amazing. We want you to come over here to play for us. We would like to see you there and there. And then this is where it starts. I had I, I used to love Instagram first, to show
Hmm.
the people my music, and I post every week, 2, 3 video, and start to pick it up pretty well. Until I'm not doing anymore much, which is a bit
Because
sad,
of
but
time, or
because of time, because of
okay.
time, yeah, because of time, and it is to set up your camera, to plug and
Yeah, yeah,
play.
yeah.
You spend 2, 3 hours playing around and make sure the jam will be
Hmm.
appreciated from people. Instead
Yeah.
of, I think I might just change the way I think. Just like you told me in Barcelona, we met. You told me just play whenever, play,
Yeah.
record, and send. And I
Yeah,
think
like
this is the best. I think this is the
nowadays
best.
the content quality, I think, has dropped, like, in a sense that you don't need to have the best equipment and you don't need to have the perfect
Mhm.
script. I think people appreciate that you're just being transparent with them and just showing what you're doing, I think.
Absolutely, and I get it. Yeah. And this is
Mm.
what I'm going to do more and more in the future, in a close future, definitely.
A few more questions. I'm very curious because you
Yeah.
lived in different cities, and
Oh yeah, true.
from what I understand, like in
Mhm.
Orléans, then to London, and then you moved to Copenhagen after. Have you lived anywhere else? How did these cities like influence you and your music?
And the music, of course. Oh, I need to plug. Yeah. Yeah. So after school, so after France, I moved to London, where we talk about, right?
Hmm.
I stayed for 2 years, and then I wanted to learn English mostly.
Hmm.
Then I
Hmm.
could travel around the world because in my school, I had this training period in Macau. Do you know Macau is in China?
Yeah,
In China, yeah, I spent
you
four
lived
months.
there.
I lived there 4 months.
Oh wow,
In
how was
Macau,
that as
yeah,
an
it
experience?
was just insane. Like I was 19 years old, and I was in Macau for 4 months as a training period with my culinary school.
Okay, okay,
And I'm like, wow, I love it so much. Like I want to travel the world. I came back to
nice.
France. I finished my study, and I went to London to learn English, of course, to practice more my
Okay, okay.
English. I spent two
Did
years in
you
London.
did you
Yeah,
pick up any Cantonese? Because they speak Cantonese, I think, in Macau.
yeah,
No? Did you
yeah.
pick up anything? Or
Oh, no, it's very hard. Like I remember
yeah,
my place. I used to say Lei Loi Tak to the taxi when after the party. They're like Lei Loi Tak. What the fuck
where?
is that? And then you have to pronounce in a certain way, like Lei Loi
Yeah.
Tak.
Okay.
So, so I could
Uh,
never go home, right?
and how was the clubbing scene there? I'm very, very curious.
EDM style,
Okay.
but
Okay.
we
Well,
were.
but that
I was
was
going to
before London.
DD3 or D3. It was DD2, D2, the D2 Macau. And
Okay.
at that time, they used to play a lot of commercial stuff. But mainly the
Hmm.
DJ was a Russian guy. He played a lot of
Oh,
Tiesto. He played a lot of Mark Knight as well. And I got like, I used to go there like very often. But I
okay.
loved it. I loved it. It's also start with me, that kind of music
And
there in
then
Macau.
London, and then after
London, then
London,
I moved to Switzerland, like to
oh,
start my, yeah, to
where?
Geneva. Geneva.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I stay 1 year and a half in Geneva to start my career as a chef. I used to club a lot. When the time when Silencio, a house discotheque was there. Now it's closed
okay.
down.
Hmm.
House and Funky House club. Silencio, oh my God, they closed down. I don't know why. But I used to go to Using as well, very
Okay.
famous, where I saw DJ's, what's his name? DJ's Sneak or Snake?
Oh,
Sneak?
okay. Yeah, sneak,
DJ
sneak,
Sneak.
sneak.
Sneak, amazing, man. So then, yeah, so we say Geneva. Then I moved to Luxembourg for 3 years, and then New Zealand for 1 year, Australia for 1 year, Canada for 2 years, and then Copenhagen. And that now we are moving
I'm
again.
trying to do the math of how
Uh,
old you are now,
uh,
because I don't
yeah,
know. I thought
no,
we were the same age, but I don't think
I'm
that's true.
35. I'm 35. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I thought we were
I've
literally the same age. I don't know why, because you haven't told me, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I
No, no,
assumed,
we
or
never talk about it.
not
Yeah,
sure.
no,
No,
definitely.
I think because how old is Alistair?
Alistair is 28.
That's why I assumed that you were the same age. I think because I talked to him and he was like, "Yeah, I'm 28," and that was last year. So I was like, "Yeah," so like around our age, yeah. Because also
No,
you
no,
don't
no.
have any white hair in your beard, and I already have them.
That's the thing, I'm trying to hide it. No, no, no. No, seriously, I'm very lucky with that. I'm very lucky. But you cannot see my white hair for sure.
Well, but yeah, but you
No,
shave, no?
I do, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
It
But I don't have
I can
much white
imagine
hair.
you save a lot of time
I
with
do,
that.
I do.
Yeah,
But I
that's where
love
you
it.
get the
I love
extra
it.
tracks made in.
Yes. But I love it. I love it this way, it's very fresh. And then like I have no problem with people make fun of me and I love it. I don't mind. I
Why?
really don't mind about like no hair. Oh, you have no hair? Yeah, and what?
Oh,
I love
and
it.
what? Like
But
why?
but but most people say to me like, "Oh, it looks well on you." So I got that. I take it as a compliment.
People are just jealous that you're more aerodynamic. That's why.
Yes, it is.
Let's
But
just a few more
yeah,
questions because I'm
yeah,
very
sure,
curious. Let's go back to topic. Um,
of course.
2025, new year. What is your goal for this year? What have you got planned?
Yes, it's a good
Anything
question.
that you can disclose, obviously, stuff that you
Yes,
cannot
yeah,
publicly say yet. It's fine, but
yeah,
if you could
it's
tell
fine.
us, yeah, tell us a bit.
So now I'm moving. I'm moving from Copenhagen. I'm moving to
Hmm.
Zurich in
Okay.
Switzerland. So I'm back to Switzerland. I'm moving to Zurich. I have a friend there, and we are planning to open our own label.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what's reserved 2025. It's mostly to open our label and try to being able to create events as well.
Hmm.
Bring people, DJ, producer, friends all over the world, and bring them. That's the plan. Bring them
Hmm.
here in Zurich, try to find accommodation for them and make them play, with a fee, obviously, and then
Hmm.
trying to see how, first I'm gonna see how Zurich is with with this minimal scene. Let's
Hmm.
see. But that's my plan to do in 2025 to open my label and obviously um,
Hmm.
find producers, Instagram for sure, and people
Hmm.
who've been talking with me a lot if they want to release. And then so that's a plan. So far, that's the only one I have. But keep releasing
What's
music.
What's like your ultimate goal as an artist? If you could say like, okay, in five
Yeah,
years, this is all that I want to be doing. What would that be?
my dream was always to travel the world. not only with
Mm-hmm.
cooking, but with music. And the next goal after opening my label and, find artists that create connection that maybe, they are able to make me play in their country if I bring them here,
Mm-hmm.
uh, then I will start, taking it seriously because I receive a lot of message from Mexico, Canada, England that people they want me to play and I start to build that connection where
Mm-hmm.
today, I'm not traveling much for as a DJ, but it could
Mm-hmm.
happen, and this is what I'm aim for on the next 5 years is to be able to travel with that, with my music
Mm-hmm.
mostly,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, it is, but
Last question.
also yeah, definitely. Tell me.
No, sorry, finish. Sorry, and then I'll ask you.
Also, in the 5 years time, I think I will continue to move between subgenres. Like, let's say I start
Mm-hmm.
with a housey or more commercial, then I move, to deep tech house,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and nowadays I'm more into, raw minimal styles as well, even though I still bring my synthesizers. So I want to try to move forward, not being only in one style, Like most
Mm-hmm.
of the producer, they want to stay their own style, keep their own style. I don't mind. I have no problem with moving styles, I think it helps me to not being bored, definitely. And so next 5 years, I want to be able to, reach most of the minimal and micro, let's say, house genre, being able to, how to say, uh, be at ease with a lot of styles. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. But still,
Last
yeah.
last question. What is the most important lesson that you learned throughout the years in your artist career?
The most important lesson,
A
ha,
lesson,
it's
yeah,
hard.
something, an idea or an advice or something that you learned that you think has moved you forward the fastest.
Definitely. I think to work hard, to work very hard. I work 5 to 7 hours a day, in the music production, and I
Just
reach
okay. I was gonna ask if that was just for
in the
music, like
music
for production.
production.
Hmm.
I think this is one of the biggest tip I can give it to anyone is to be confident in your music and work hard, practice a lot, and try to learn a lot from YouTube, from producers, um, but working hard. Definitely, biggest strength for me is to be able to spend hours a lot in the morning in the studio, having to go to my work. Finally, I can have some break, come back home, finish the tracks. And in 2 years of time, I have been able to release in many labels. I have been able to actually live my dreams, and it's going further and further. So yeah, that's only what I can say. Work hard.
Alex, thank you
Otherwise,
so much
yeah.
for
Thanks a
your
lot.
time.
Yeah, of
It
course.
has
Thanks a
been a
lot
pleasure
for
speaking
inviting me.
speaking
Yeah,
to you, and it was very insightful for everything
great. I'm
that you
happy then.
said and what we talked about.
Of course,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks.